I'm Megan Mitchell. This is my co-host, John Morrison, and you are listening to the True North Racing Podcast.
Time to strap in, pull those belts, and get ready for an action-packed episode of the True North Racing Podcast. Are you ready to unmask? Unhelmet your favorite racers? Get ready for the most fun you'll have outside the racetrack to get you ready for the next race. You're listening to John Morrison and Megan Mitchell, and this is the True North Racing Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new week of the True North Racing Podcast, brought to you by Vision 20 Studios. We're now over the hump of episode 100. I know we were kind of building up to it, but now we're officially over it. But joining us, as always, is our amazing co-host, Megan Mitchell. Megan, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm exhausted.
I feel that.
Last night, late night at Flamborough, there was talks of possibly canceling and not canceling, and we ended up getting a full night of racing in, no victory lanes, no meet the drivers. It was and we stood around, we were around the pits for, God, it felt like 3 hours after the race. It was only like maybe like hour and a half to 2 hours. Late night for both of us. You were telling me earlier you didn't get to bed till like 2:30 this morning.
Yeah. That was my own fault, though.
I mean, I feel that because when I got home just after 1 a.m. this morning. And once Jacqueline went to bed, I was like, you know what? I'm going to upload all the footage from last night, which wasn't much.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to upload all the footage. And then I was like, you know what? It's going to be like 2 clips. It won't take me long. Screw it. I'm going to get, Mike's up first. I'm going to get Mike's. So last night before I went to bed, I actually had Mike's video ready to go. So all I had to do this morning when I got up was upload it to YouTube, put the post out, and then we were good to go. And then, we woke up here at like 7:30. We had a garage sale. We tried to have a garage sale yesterday. That failed pretty bad because of the weather. And then we carried on today, but today was a bit better. It was just hot. And then by like 12 o'clock, there was no one else around. So we were like, let's pack up for the day.
Yeah.
I was telling Jacqueline earlier, like an hour ago, I went over to the couch and sat down with her, and she was asleep on the couch. And I go, well, I'm like, there's one silver lining. She's like, what's that? I'm like, I have nothing to do till Wednesday night. And she goes, well, what about your podcast tomorrow night? Like, that's it. That's the only thing I have to do this week.
Yeah.
Sauble's taken care of. I've already dealt with all Sauble stuff. My videos from the in-cars that I have from Mike Thompson and Dale Millard, both uploaded. So go check them out on YouTube, guys. And what else? The Joe Media Driver, our weekly breakdown, is done. So we were in really good shape. So I pretty much, besides the podcast, I got nothing to do till Wednesday. And then I got to pump out three articles for Thursday. So it's, at least if I get this done tonight early enough, I could have Monday off too. So
that'd be nice.
It would be nice. Obviously, like we said, last night we were at Flamborough. Megan, why don't you talk us through Chase's race? We need to get Chase on here. Like, we need to bring it. We need to bring him in each week to give us a quick overview of his races. But give us
try.
a rundown of. Yeah, we've been trying for what, like 2 years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at least get them on this show.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been
Exactly.
at least a year to get them on. Why don't you give us an overview of how MRC Racing did last night?
I'm gonna try to keep it short and simple because I feel like there's a lot I could say. But it was a long night with the rain. I honestly wasn't hopeful that we were even getting the show in. But like once the clouds cleared, it was pretty sunny and blue. So that was good. Um, First feature, the track was still kind of, Chase said it still felt damp. Obviously, it's been like saturated all day with rain. And he was starting on the pole. I don't think Chase has ever started on the pole in his whole half a season career. So that was new for him. And he was nervous, but he stuck with it and gave it a try. And it was all right, but I don't know. He lost some positions. He got turned sideways coming out of corner two, and it kind of caused everybody to go by him. So he just kind of hung around. I think he finished eighth. I think he started fourth in the second one, and that one was crazy. Like there was no cautions, but there was a lot of like
There should have
cars
been.
all over the place. There definitely should have been because it was chaos, and there was cars through the infield back up onto the track, cars all over the track, and he managed to keep it clean and stay out of it all and finish sixth. So
We were lucky that there wasn't anything more major when that
big time,
happened. Like,
big time.
good job. Round of applause to you pure stock drivers at Flamborough for getting you guys through that second feature.
Mm-hmm. That was crazy. And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
kind of surprised the track was more dry for the second feature than it would have been the first. Yet the
but it was more
second
crazy.
one more chaotic. I'm like, wow.
It's because the
So that
prolates
was
and the pro challenge had a chance to lay down some rubber. Let's
yeah,
blame it on that.
yeah. But
Um,
it was overnight.
that's awesome. Yeah, it was we had ourselves a family gathering. We had it wasn't just myself and Jacqueline heading off to the track. We had her parents join us. We had her sister join us, and we I would say we hung around with you guys, but we parked there. We did hang around with you guys for a bit, and then my ass was stuck to the grandstand as soon as racing finally got started. But
Mhm.
it was great sitting up there and talking with Jacqueline's parents. And one of the funniest things that what was said was okay. So it's not a funny part at all, but Jacqueline's dad, Steve, wanted to see a wreck.
Yeah.
All the wrecks that happened last night he was not able to see. And unfortunately, in the mini stock race where the wreck happened right in front of their seats, Steve was off putting on pants to get rid of the
Oh,
bugs. So,
oh
and
my god.
the worst part was I had 3 GoPros in the mini stock feature, and the one car was involved. Michael Kenny was involved. I had his. I was really hoping for some good shots. Didn't really get any good shots from him, unfortunately, because it was only it would be like a 45-second clip. So maybe we'll see that on TikTok. But Dale Millard, we had a camera in his car, and Mike Gilmore was started spinning in front of him. So you see Mike start going around coming out of 2. And then Mike Thompson was passing, or Michael Kenny was behind Mike Thompson. So as you can see, Mike start checking up, and then Michael just dart to the right to avoid him, and then go straight into Gilmore. So I had 3 cameras, 3 different angles.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. So it was it was quite an interesting video when you kind of play those over.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna clip them and actually put that on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
See, I was gonna put so on Mike Thompson's car, he doesn't have a round roll bar where his fuel cell is.
Right.
Michael Kenny did. So I could put a GoPro there. I'm not trusting a square tube with a round GoPro mount. So I luckily put mine up, but we would have gotten either a good shot either way.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our weekend. We enjoyed it. I'll be back at Flamborough next weekend for Canada Day. We are bringing the kids this time. Jacqueline and I are bringing the kids. They will be going to sit over in the grandstands. I told her we could bring them in the pits and then they could sit in the grandstands up there, and that way they're a little bit closer to the action. So I don't know. We'll see. But it should be a good weekend. There's lots of going on. But we'll talk about that after our guest. But before we bring our guest in, we got luckily submitted a topic to talk about. And we got about 10 minutes before our guest is going to come in here. So I'm thinking it's going to be a good time. We can talk about it for about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So Jay Wilds of Wilds Printing reached out to me and goes, what do fans want from a driver compared to what they get? Off the track, that is, and how can the track support this? The time to meet drivers is priceless for those that think the drivers are hidden under Superman's cape. So let's dive in here, because obviously, Megan, you're a driver, and I'm a big race time fan. So this is going to be a good topic for us to go back and forth on.
Yeah.
And of course, with Joe Media Promotions, I want to promote. I want to put you guys out there. I want to give you guys opportunities to bring sponsors and do stuff. That's our goal here. I want to see more involvement from drivers and teams. And I get it. It's a big commitment. And I understand, because I've been a part of a lot of these where we've gone to a restaurant for 7 a.m. and gone from 8 beyond display from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then by 12:30, we're already starting to load up to get the car to Flamborough for gates open at 3. This is back when gates were actually open at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I've also been in another car show for Elliot where we were just outside Waterdown, and we were there like we went on a Sunday. I think it was a Sunday, and we were there from like 8 to 2 or something like that. And the way I see, and the whole crew, and this is the one thing we made that David always made sure, is that it wasn't just him on display. It was him and the team. Every car show we went to, it was him and the team. So I'm in the boat that I always want to see more, because the more you put you do stuff for your sponsors, especially your sponsors, I feel like the more they're going to re-up with you at the end of the year. You know, the social media posts, they help a little bit. It's the TikTok videos talking about your sponsors. It's essentially doing an interview for a YouTube channel if you got one, or doing a podcast like this. You can take that to a sponsor and go, hey, look at this. I was on this program, or I did this. You know, let's work us on. I think we were even talking that with Claude.
Yeah.
It really kicks back and helps the sponsors as well as it helps you, because you're also meeting new people. It's that's my opinion. How do you feel on that? Be honest. Don't hold back here. Be honest.
So with the whole fan engagement thing, like I like the idea of something at intermission, but as a driver, it's hard because you don't have a lot of time, and some nights there's a lot of stuff you got to do. And if you're already not in a good mood or not a good headspace, you haven't been having a good night, it can be really tough to like put a smile on and go and engage. I would prefer open the gates earlier. At Flamborough, for example, out back where the main grandstands are, where the fans would park some race cars back there before the night starts, with drivers, with their team, with shirts and stuff. That way it's kind of there in front of the track before they even come in.
Yeah.
And it's getting it done before the night starts. And then it's like you might pick up a few fans, and it's like they'll be watching you for that night because they engaged with you. But I like the idea of more fan engagement, and there needs to be more, off race days, like putting your car in a parade and going to car shows. And we have Pub Fiction and CASCAR on our car. We plan on taking all 3 cars out and setting them up, taking pictures, and doing a whole engagement thing there. So it's like, I would like to see more stuff like that, because people do need to see like who's behind the helmet, because sometimes you don't know.
So
like even at Oswego, I was just gonna say there's some drivers at Oswego that I had no idea what they looked like. I had no idea who they were. I just heard their names, and then they get into their car, and I'm like, oh, that's not who I expected. It's like nice to see.
So I'm in agreement with you here, and I think I like the idea of moving it. The problem is trying to get people out, because there's a lot of people who don't show up for the start time. They kind of start funneling in at that time. So like your stands aren't going to be complete until about 7 p.m., 7:30. So it's one of those things. It's like you really have to get it out there that you're doing it. It's one of those things like, and the problem is it's not a problem, but the thing with Flamborough is they also have the Waterloo Regional Kart Club that runs Saturday mornings. They're not out of there till 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So, but if you're going to watch, it's free to watch. You go in the pit side and it's free to watch. So like right? It's one of those things. It's not the grandstand sides that's open.
Yeah.
It's only the pit side. So it's a little frustrating there. I love the idea of taking a few cars over. I would love to see, but the problem, again, it's one of those things. It's a problem that how we run practices. Like, you almost need to invite a few cars who aren't running that night. So like a night that mini stocks are off, or thunder cars are off, super stocks are off, or pro lates, invite them out and line their cars out there. Then that way, but the problem, and again, is it worth it for them to come out?
Yeah.
It's so like, frustrating.
Yeah. Or even one night specifically at Flamborough that I find works really well is the corn roast night, when they all come over into the pits after. But it sucks because it depends where, right? And it's like, to engage with the drivers, it kind of sucks because like the driver's not always just hanging around their car. Like Chase, for example, he's probably going to be gone doing a million different things, talking to a million different people, and he's not there at the car. So it's like, or if you're parked like way back, not where fans are going to walk across the track to, you're getting left out of it. So like it kind of sucks that way.
It's one of those things that you may have to like load up, or at least like bring your truck and trailer down and bring the race car down there, because by the end of the day, there's lots of parking down, especially down by where the CVMs are. There's tons of areas to bring your cars, and that's where a lot of people head out. And if they're going to leave, they're going to go that way usually. They're not going to go back across the track. They'll walk around. So
Yeah.
I like that. The one thing I want to see more of is same kind of deal underneath, recognizing who the driver is. I would love to see all tracks do once a month, pick a division and line them up for either the first feature or the second feature and do out of car introductions.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
one night you're adding 10 minutes to a program, but think about the people who are up in the grandstands who are going to see that driver and go, I can't tell you how many times people have looked at me, and this isn't a shot at people I've crewed with, but I crewed for a guy, and one of the things is I got sent the questions. The people, if he was just signing autographs, he was fine. But if that person started asking questions, he would go, you need to talk to this guy. So I look at it as like, why am I not the driver? Why don't you foot my bill and I'll drive for you?
Yeah.
Right. Until you get better knowledge of this, why don't I drive for you? I wish I did that though, but it's not the case. But it's Meet the Drivers Night is awesome because it gives a chance for those fans to meet the drivers. But I also want to see every division deserves a chance to be special. So like one night, so like let's say I would never do May, but June, let's say do pure stocks. July you do mini stocks. Like do your home track. Don't worry about your touring divisions. They're gonna do what they want to do. Like just like the APC series, they do out of car introductions every event. But I know there's guys and girls in the pure stocks and the mini stocks who will never get to the prolates, but it doesn't mean they don't deserve to be special.
Exactly.
I've seen this up at Full Throttle. You know how cool it looks when you have all your mini stocks lined up and they're like lined up. Sorry, folks, for anyone who's listening on Spotify right now, but I'm kind of doing a visual. They had them kind of like this lined up down the front stretch. Like, it gives the fans a chance to really see the driver, give the chance for the driver who may never end up in victory lane to talk into a microphone and say, I got to thank my sponsors.
Yeah.
What's an extra 15 minutes to a program to give a division a special night? Exactly. Even if you let them run 2 heats in a feat, like don't even worry about like double heats to set your lineup. Split the field, let them run 10 laps each, and then let them have a 30 lap feature. But give them that special moment of doing a driver introduction. I'd
love to see that.
Right? Like, how cool would it be for you to get out of the car, you drive out there, not even be race ready, you just drive out there, your dad comes with you to help you get buckled in, and we are here with the driver, the number 73, Megan Mitchell. Megan, tell us who your sponsors are. Hey guys, I'm Megan Mitchell. My sponsor is Pub Fiction, Graphic Design, Joe Media. Like, it gives a chance for you guys.
Exactly.
I don't know. We could go on and on about this because I think it would be great. Because I want to see more away from track though.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing more of it actually this year than I have. Like Jaden Chapman, Bryan Batty, they've been in car shows out there areas, and it's not racing related shows.
Yeah.
It is usually like a classic car event or something, but they're still going. They're still taking cars. And again, I'm always a big advocate of making sure the car is good, at least decent looking.
Yeah.
Racing incidents happen throughout the year, and that's not a big deal. But when you're on a show, like when you're when you're out doing an event for your sponsors or whatever, or even just a general car show, I hate to say it, but you got to look decent as well. You can't be showing up in a grungy pair of shorts, a random t-shirt. You gotta look presentable. I told my buddy, because my buddy's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do car shows at he was wanting to do car shows almost weekly at the Stampede Ranch in Guelph. And I looked at him and go, then you better get your ass some crew shirts. He goes, what? I was like, yeah, we need crew shirts then. I'm not sitting there and looking at them and wearing a random t-shirt like this Josh Berry t-shirt. I'm not wearing that shirt to a show.
Yeah.
That's why anything CVM related, I'm wearing a CVM t-shirt. I need to get myself a Joe Media crew shirt, and I need, like, maybe I'll talk to Jay about that, because they got some good ones. I mean, he's a supporter of the program. He does do he sponsors our weekly lineup. So I mean,
yeah,
he does them, and he does a great job at them. Because Jaden Chapman, his son Cody has them. So, Jay, if you're listening, I'm gonna be reaching out to you to get some crew shirts made up. And one for you, one for me, one for Jacqueline. And that way, when we're out and about and, doing stuff for the podcast or doing stuff for Joe Media, we're going to look presentable.
Exactly.
But I think we're both in agreement that drivers and teams need to do more to get out there, get into the public.
Definitely.
So like I said, we could probably keep going back and forth in what needs to be done. But I think we're going to bring in this week's guest on the program. That's going to be Bryan Batty, Jomo Media driver and driver the number 39 OSCAAR Modified. Can't wait to talk to him. I haven't actually really spoken to him much, and he's been trying to get me to get GoPros on his Modified for the last couple of nights he's been coming to Flamborough. So we're going to make it happen. I just need to get there. That's it. So before we bring Bryan in, we're going to have a quick word from our presenting sponsor, Vision 20 Studios. You're diving into Vision 20 Editing. New company with their services providing video editing to get your video perfect and exactly the way you guys are looking for. They also do audio mastering, where they're going to take your audio and make it crisp and clear. They're bringing your vision to life. That is right. At Vision 20 Editing, we want to make sure that your vision comes to life in the way you want it. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Vision 20 Studios. Now let's get back to the True North Racing Podcast. All right, guys, joining us this week is the driver of the number 39 OSCAAR Modified, Bryan Batty. Bryan, how are you, man?
Oh, not bad. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right, thank you. Welcome to the program. We appreciate you coming on. I know I feel like I talked to him like 2-3 months ago, Megan, to bring him on. I felt so bad for everyone who's been having to wait for like 2-3 months after I've asked them. Bryan, let's get into it. You've run 2 races so far. How have they gone for you?
It's kind of hard to explain. We've been trying a lot of things setup wise this year. Some have been working, some have not. Flamborough there, we got in a little mess in our second heat race, ripped the whole right front off the car. Team scrambled. We got her back together thanks to Steve Book for welding up our spindle. But got about just in time for the feature and managed to get a decent run out of that still, which was nice. And Sabo, we fought all day long. I threw some aggressive setup changes into the mix, and we sort of were tripping over our feet all day long, chasing, getting the thing to turn, and it wasn't an ideal day. That first heat race, a lot of contact in there. It tore up a bunch of the back end of our car. But it is what it is. All you can do is hope we get our motor back in time for Delaware next weekend.
Hopefully that motor comes back. I know it's I you were telling me that you were getting out there and you were, I feel so bad for you because like you've had, it looks, obviously not being able to watch the races, and judging from, what I see on Facebook and Race Monitor and stuff like that, you've started off the season, in my opinion, pretty well. You finished fourth at Flamborough. You picked up a heat win, right? There, or was it just Sobel?
Yeah, we picked up our first heat of the year at Flamborough. We picked up the win there, and the second heat, I'm really wishing I just would have wrote it out instead of going for the pass and tore the car up. But whatever, it is what it is, right?
Absolutely. Now let's dive in. Let's learn how Bryan got into racing. Take us back to the first memories you had of going back to a racetrack and how you got hooked onto this crazy sport that you enjoy racing in.
Well, sort of interesting story. My father, he started helping out a buddy that was just a couple doors down from him, and eventually started driving the truck for him. And each year he took on more responsibility, and that team happened to be Whitlock Motorsports out of Reese's Corners.
Okay.
So my weekends through the summer, I would either get to go to, like, say if it's a hometown race, say Delaware Speedway, something like that. I'd get to go enjoy that with them, and if not, it's a weekend that they're off, I'd get to hang around the shop, see all the cool cars, and see how much of a top-notch organization it was. So over time, of course, I wanted to race, and would have been, I think, 2012 maybe. We finally kicked our careers off and started go-kart racing down in the States.
So for Eddie, okay, so why? Now my question is why start off down in the States? Was it just because there's no go-kart tracks around your area?
No, I think the closest one was about an hour and a half, and a good friend of ours, which worked for Dave Whitlock, now he works up at 22 Racing and 22 Automotive, Steve Taylor. He pushed us towards this line of racing. Originally, we were thinking, oh, we'll go Grand Bend Speedway, hit up J Cars or something like that. But then through him, we stumbled across these dirt oval karts and how much affordable it is to get into those compared to, say, an asphalt car. So we started racing those, and our first race was like February or something in 2012, sorry. And the only place that was open through the winter was a track called the BMI Indoor Speedway in Versailles, Ohio. And so that's why we started racing down the States. And we raced there, I think 2-3 times a month or something like that for the first few months of our program till the track down in Tilbury, 5150, opened up for the summer. We ran there maybe half the season. Then we dabbled back into the States, racing across Michigan and Ohio for the next couple years.
That's awesome. Now that makes a lot more sense. So okay, so I don't think we've ever talked to anyone who ran dirt go-karts before. So why don't you tell us a little bit about them and what you enjoyed about them.
Well, they're a pretty interesting chassis. They're set up like a generic oval car would be, everything offset all the way to the left. Basically, you're a go-kart, but you're sitting in between the left side wheels. And we ran those things. We were doing about 50, 60 mile an hour, no seat belts, no roll cages, the helmet, neck brace, a fire coat, sitting in a fiberglass seat, doing 60 mile an hour every weekend. And they were a blast to drive. It just got to the point where it's people were getting too chaotic and aggressive, especially towards us. They really didn't like us young Canadians coming down there and beating them when they've been at it for decades. So it actually got to such a hostile point that we had to keep track of points and finishes ourselves, because the tracks and series would start screwing us out of points and so on. And they really didn't like it. We had a lot of guys that started hating us, and all we were doing is we were just a couple high school kids running down the states, and we were doing good every week. And that's all it takes for people to start hating you, I guess.
They just don't like us Canadians going down there whooping their ass. That's all.
Oh, that's what we always said. They always loved us until we started beating them. Then they really didn't like us anymore.
So what was your next move division wise after that? Like, where did you go next?
So after we left the dirt karting, we wanted to race closer to home, because traveling 4 hours each way to go race for 25 laps, really sucked. So at the time, Grand Bend Speedway, they were really heavy into the legend car program. So my dad, actually, he did this crazy thing. He traded his 69 Camaro project car he's had longer than I've been alive. And he traded it for a legend car so we could go racing. And we ran that car for like a season or whatever. And then I physically outgrew the chassis. So we had to move on from there to like the sedan type cars. And we just kept moving along from there, really.
So when did you start racing the OSCAAR Modifieds? What year?
I believe our first year is 2019.
Okay.
Our first year.
And for that first year, how did you do?
Really bad, actually. Like it was just an embarrassing year. We bought the car. We were told all these great things. Oh yeah, it's got all this new rebuilt stuff. It's got this, it's got that, it's got that. And we're like, all right, sweet. We got a good starting point. We'll drop a motor in, and then go from there. And it was just, no matter what we did, we were fighting issues left and right. And I think we went through a couple rads trying to keep the thing cool. We had brake issues nonstop, and it was just, anytime we turned around, there was just something weird happening. It was just not a good year. It's actually one I'd love to forget, but oh well. It is what it is, right? It's what
Absolutely.
happens.
It's a big learning curve.
Mm-hmm. So what was it like moving divisions like that? Like what kind of things did you have to learn? What was the process? And like, was there anything that you struggled with in between, or certain things you liked better?
Well, the biggest thing I found was going from the go-karts. We were a 6.5 horse knockoff Honda engine, putting out about 13 to 14 horse, and weighed about 350 to 400 pounds. So the throttle pedal was like on off. You didn't have to feather it because you didn't have the horsepower with the 11-inch wide slicks to spin tires. So jumping from that with no suspension to a legend car, which is a really rev happy engine program, they just love to rev and it takes nothing to do it. And they run on a really, at the time, it was really just not raceable tire, basically. So it's like left and right, you're just spinning tires, burning up. So you really had to learn the throttle control and how to control it. And at the same time, we were having to learn how the suspension interacted with each track we would go to. So it was actually a really great learning process. Changing two Legend cars and then up to the modified is we had a general idea of what to do suspension wise, like spring rates and tires, but then we got thrown into suspension angles because everything's adjustable, unlike a INX Legend car where everything is a fixed point and you're not allowed to tamper with anything. So it really threw another big curveball into that. But thankfully, Greg Gibson, he was a huge help helping sort out our modified and put that amazing body on it. Now the thing is just a blast to drive. It actually, like, we can actually get it to turn. It cuts nice. We can actually like work with it. It's been like, I'd say probably that's probably the best thing that's ever happened for our program is Greg stepping in and helping us and made that car something that I couldn't stand to look at to something I just love to get behind the wheel of.
Obviously, with the getting your rookie year in 2019 and then having the shutdown year in 2020, how did it feel not heading off to the racetrack? Because I don't think the modifieds ever got off the ground in 2020, did they?
I believe they ran a couple races. I think that might have been around when G-Force started.
Yeah.
Because people weren't able to attend the races, right? It was definitely a weird feeling not being able to go racing, but it allowed us to have more time to work on our car and get it to where we were wanting it to be, instead of having to rush it and compromise things. So in the end, it really did end up helping us, but it would have been nice to get seat time and stuff all year long, but whatever, it is what it was, right? So there's not much you can do about it.
Absolutely. That year definitely I had heard a lot of people who wanted to get seat time, because the only way you get better is seat time and getting out there and making laps. Let's just your 2021 season, how did that end up going for you?
It actually went fairly well. That was our first year running with the car after Greg had went over it and found all the problems, sort of ironed it out a little bit for us and fixed it, like all the major issues that we just didn't know of. So it didn't go too bad. I think we stayed inside the top 10 all year long. I think we got like a couple fifths, some sixths, maybe a seventh or two. But other than that, it wasn't too bad of a year. It's definitely a great turnaround from the 2019 season.
Absolutely would seem like it. So what now I'm like, I kind of want to get in here and go, what do you love about the everyone's got their divisions that they love. What do you love about the modified division so much that keeps you coming back year after year?
Well, first of all, they just look awesome. There's nothing cooler than a car scraping the ground with headers sticking out both sides and an air filter sticking through the hood. They're just straight up badass cars. They're a blast to drive. You got about the speed of a Pro Late, like less expensive because you don't have to get into bump stops and all the technical aero stuff. You don't have to deal with templates. So you still have some experimentation room to work with, which is awesome. I love it personally. It definitely changes things up. You see like a variety of different different body styles out there. But it's just one of the divisions. I've always had my eye on since a kid, the modifieds, watching the Wheeling Tour. It's always just been something on my mind, and I figured we would give her a shot. And now, well, a couple years later, we're still at it and doing everything we can to keep at it.
See, that's honestly, that was one of my favorite divisions to run in the NASCAR Thunder series once they started adding them into the EA Sports franchise, where you started off in the modifieds. Those cars were always so much fun to run. I don't know what it was, and you're absolutely right. The looks of them, but I'm going to take this hat off for a second. I agree with you on the bodies to a point, because I'm also part of the CVMs, and they got a lot of different body styles as well. So I have to admire both of them in their own respective ways. Now this hat's coming back on. So
well, they all got their things, right? It's
absolutely.
Everyone loves different things. A lot of people love cars with fenders. A lot of people love things without fenders. A lot of people like things with wings. It is what it is, right? Everyone's different. Some people like going left and right. Some people like turning left, and some people like going straight. It's a pretty vast world out there when you get thinking about it, but everyone usually just finds their way to a certain division, and that's where we're content where we are right now. Our modified series and what we're doing with our program.
So there's obviously a lot of series in Ontario alone, but like, you're happy with like the modifieds, but is there any other division or series, like even if it's not something that could be like realistic, but is there anything else that you would have an eye on that you would want to at least try one day?
I really love the Outlaw Super Lates. Unfortunately, that's just way out of our budget range. Like, I'm not really much of a fan of Pro Lates, so like all the template stuff, I'm just not too much of a fan for. Like, I do like more like the OSS and like Super Stock, because I like the power and like tire they run on. It still makes it so the drivers have to wheel it and they're not on bump stops. So it opens things up a lot to more of the driver than whoever's got the most expensive setup gear and whoever sends their stuff to the right person.
Absolutely. It's the super lates are such a different animal, and they put on a badass show wherever they go. And you're right. Super stocks, it's all in the driver's hands. You got to make sure that setup's correct. You got to make sure everything's, and you got to be able to make sure you can wheel that car. And I almost want to kind of say we're seeing that kind of like how like NASCAR is. You got like ABC and Super Stock. NASCAR, the Cup Series puts on boring races. The Xfinity Series been put on the most exciting races. Same kind of deal. APC, once you settle in, you settle in. Super Stocks, yeah, you got your fast guys who could end up front, but you also got some guys who might be able to sneak out a win. All depends on how you manage your tires for 50 laps.
Yeah, it's definitely, I find a more entertaining series because the power to tire ratio, they have to conserve the tires. Like a late model, one round sealed off for 100 laps or so, right? And if you got the right bump package, right, roll centers and everything built into the car, it won't be an issue for you to run around 100 laps. But a super stock, they're so heavy on such a small tire with still a V8 power in it. It's you have to try and conserve it, even though you're only running for 50 laps.
Yeah, it's it is definitely crazy. I think it's time for our fan question period. As you saw earlier today, we put out on social media that you were joining us on the program tonight, And we got a question for you. And Megan, why don't you take it away?
Alrighty. William_Trillium said, "Where did you get your number from?"
Well, that whole circles right back to the Whitlock Motorsports and Dave Whitlock. He was always like an idol to me, just the way he ran his program and how he was so competitive when they would do so much work in-house. Instead of just sending everything away, they did pretty much everything in-house to an extent. And later on, they had to start branching out and stuff. But no, I really loved the atmosphere that surrounded Whitlock Motorsports. It was a great group, and it's really, I found shaped my career to a point of keeping top-notch looking equipment. Well, really, the 39 is just something that's always been on my mind. That number's always been in my head, and once we finally picked up our first go-kart, it was 39 or nothing, basically.
Honestly, Megan, have you ever watched any of the old Canadian Tire Series races or the CASCAR races with and seen the 39 in action there?
Possibly.
I'm gonna have to find some of those old films and send over the links over to you for them, because Dave was a guy like I was a big fan of his because, one, I recognized the number as soon as you saw it, but it was the sponsors he had on his hood as well. You just instantly remembered them. It wasn't it's not like how some of the guys nowadays you kind of forget who's attached to who. You saw it and you're like, yeah, that's, you know exactly who it is. It's like Gary Elliott with Quaker State. Like, you see Gary, Quaker State, you instantly think Quaker State. So that's pretty cool that you chose the number 39, because that's where you got your start, is with those guys, right?
Yeah, if it wasn't for Whitlock Motorsports, who knows what I'd be doing with my spare time other than busting knuckles on race cars all afternoon, right?
I know it's kind of weird to think like what everyone's lives would be like without racing in it. I think it's pretty scary. But that takes up our fan question period. Of course, we want to thank everyone, or we want to thank William_Trillium for submitting in that question. Make sure you guys check out Tailored to You on Facebook and Instagram. She supports this part of the program each week, so get on over there and support her. She does awesome work. We have our own Dr. Pepper, True North Racing, Joe Media Cuts. We got our own Joe Media Cuts. Feeney uses her for tumblers, air fresheners. Between Feeney and I, we're putting her through the ringer on getting stuff for us. So Taylor, sorry. Actually, she's got, by the way, before we continue on the show, she's got a new product out, and I'm absolutely in love with it because I want to get one made up for our show. It is a tumbler, just like this, but down here, it has a base for a speaker, and it has a speaker attached to it. So you can take the podcast wherever you go and have a good drink while you're enjoying it. So as we get back into the program here, Bryan, I did a write-up on you just recently on for joemedia.ca, but I kind of want to know what your goals are, what your plans are for this year. I know you already told me, but we wanted to get it out to everyone else as well.
Well, our goal was obviously to chase a championship with our OSCAAR Modified team. We're sort of weighing options right now. Just a couple things that I'm not too happy with, but it is what it is. I'm not going to get into that. Like we're just going to hunt down wins, and basically this coming weekend, the OSCAAR Nationals of Delaware is going to be a big deciding factor on the rest of our season. Like we just loaded up our motor. We got to take it down to the beach and have it done, all rebuilt because it got torn up at Sawwell. So I can't see that being a cheap fix. I guess I'll find out tomorrow when I leave to take it down to Windsor. But other than that, plan to just try and chase wins wherever we can, when we can. We had some issues in the past with consistency, and that's one thing we've been working on quite a bit. And reorganizing our program just to ensure that we can perform at our best each and every week. Than that, we're just pretty much trying to hunt down wins and do what we can.
That's, you know what, ain't nothing wrong with that. It's tough when things don't go your way early on, but I honestly, from what I've seen, man, I'm gonna be seeing you in victory lane here pretty darn soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be more than happy to put that on the Joe Media website that you got to victory lane. And you know, it's already I've been enjoying working with you. You've been definitely I still need to get to an event that you're at, and I know I could have been there May 27th. I could have been there. But Jacqueline said she wanted to go to Peterborough, so that's not on me. That's on her. She wanted to go there. I wanted to go to Flamborough. She wanted to go to Peterborough, so that's not on me. But because Megan, last year Brian asked if I could put a GoPro on his car.
Yeah.
After seeing where I put the GoPro on the CVMs, he's like, "I got Nerf bars. You could put GoPros too."
Yeah, there's a lot of bars on that car. You get some pretty cool shots from.
And you know what? You don't even need to tease me because Megan already knows where. Like, there's no place I will not put a GoPro. Like, I put my brand, like, I wasn't brand new last year, but I picked it up in 2021. It was brand new at the time. It was a Hero 9, and last year I put it on the back bumper of a Pro late model. And the guy behind the guy, Ty Cavlin, who was riding along with, the guy came within probably 6 inches of getting to it. with like on the opening lap, and I'm looking at him like, eee. I'm like, that's a little too close for comfort, but the shot, we got to be money for the shot.
That's what matters, as long as you get the cool shots, right?
Oh yeah, like even this year I had it on one of the CVMs, and I had walked away to do some other stuff. I come back and one of the guys goes, "Well, at least your GoPro's still there." I'm like, "Excuse me?" Turns out the Ricky Williger, who drives the 8 car in the CVMs, he spun, and then I can't remember what happened, but he spun, but the way he spun, he whipped around, and the passenger side smacked the outside wall. So the GoPro went from, sitting like it should to sitting on its back. And I was like,
well, as long as it's one piece.
That's exactly it. My other one, there's a crack down the middle of it, and if I put it the right way, you don't notice it. No, like seriously, if you go back and look at some of the other footage I've been posting, you don't see it. So I don't know what's going on there, but like 2 years ago, you could see it fine as day. Like you could see a reflection. Now it's like not even there, but the crack is still there. So
I know what I got. Now I know what I have to do at lunch. Try and find the video with the crack in it.
If you go watch on the CVM's YouTube channel, you will find it guaranteed. If you go look at the hype video we put out at the beginning of January, I think it was October or November, you'll see it. Because my buddy was asking, he's like, is there usually a crack there? I'm like, yeah, something hit it. I don't know, a rock or something hit it. It was on Pod's car when it happened. So like, I'm not even. I had it as low as I could to the ground too. So all I know is I could have scraped the ground. But when I finally get a chance to come out and see the OSCAAR Modifieds again, I am bringing my GoPros, and I don't care. This time I'll slap all 3 on there, just and let you just have fun with it all day.
Well, I got
Sound like
some
a plan?
pretty neat ideas of where I'd like to put GoPros, but I just never got around to taking out mine out of the closet and trying it out.
Okay, so where do you want to put them? I gotta hear this.
Oh, a risky one right on the splitter on the bottom of my nose, right in front of where my name is.
Already
part
done
that's
that one. I can do that. That's fine. I'll put my 7 there.
You sure? Because this car scrapes the ground.
Don't. How do you think my camera cracked on PODSCAR? It was as low as it could, and his drops.
I don't know. There's a couple places I thought about putting them and stuff, but I just haven't really got to it right. Maybe you got some ideas. I'd love to see them, and I'd love to see some pretty cool footage using it.
All right, so now this is okay. So now what you got to do is you got to send me some like. I don't know much. I don't know much about the modified, so you're good. I'm not going to be snooping through pictures, but I need you to send me some pictures of where you would like the GoPro, and then just send me multiple angles of all the bars in the car, and I will find 3 angles. I will be more than actually. I'll find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. There's 2 heats, so that's 3 cameras. That's 6, 9. Yeah, 9 plus 2 practice sessions. That's probably about 15. I can find 15 angles we could put the GoPros at. And I'll make one stupid ass video. Right?
All right. Well, I'd love to see that video, so we're gonna have to do that.
Absolutely. You're back. The modifieds are running for Oktoberfest, correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's every year. I believe it's that'd be the last week of September or something. I think it's the week after.
The week after. Yeah, the week after the 20. It'll be the 20. I think it's October 30 or September 30th and October 1st this year.
All right. Yeah, I
So
think
I may get lucky.
Yeah, well, let's see. I'm pretty sure we're only there for one day, though.
Yeah.
All the shows drop down to one day, except this coming weekend in Delaware, and was it Autumn Colors? Everything else is one day, so you'll have one day to try and catch me.
Well, I think the best one's gonna be Flamborough. So, unless I'm trying to talk to Jacqueline into getting onto to Sauble Beach again. So and you guys are going back up there again. So I mean, I gotta find out when that is. If it's the 12th, I can't go. I know that.
Yeah, I don't even know the schedule off my head. I just know when the Delaware races are, because those are really the only ones that stick out to me. But I know we're up to Sauble at least once more, and a couple other places. Something that's really been weighing on my mind is heading up to Sunset. I love going up there. It's just such a long haul, and
oh yeah,
it's been on my mind all year. I love going up there. We just haven't since 2019, other than Paul Velocity, just what it takes for us to haul up there, and they're all 2-day shows. So by the time you have your whole crew take off an entire weekend of work and you drag like a camper or something up there, the fuel bill is more than the payout will ever be, right? So it's hard to bite that bullet and go up there, but it really is on my mind. It looks like it seems like they're doing a good job running stuff up there. So it'd be nice to get up there and race with the Andy a bit.
Oh yeah. Hopefully you guys can. I just looked up the Sauble Speedway schedule and I noticed that I will not be able to attend that day. That is for certain. Because as of right now, I am scheduled to be attending my brother's wedding that day. So that is a no bueno.
I've never understood why people schedule weddings on race days. Like, you think they've learned by now, right?
So I'm getting married next year, and it was the 2 days. So the venue we chose, we only had 2 dates available. One was October 24th, so after Autumn Colors, and then the other one was April 6th. So just before race season starts.
So either way, it's going to be a cold date.
Yeah.
But it's not on a race day. So
exactly. And the funny part is that Megan is in the bridal party. So it helps her out because then she doesn't have to worry about not having to race that night.
Yeah.
That was going to be a serious factor.
That's gonna be a serious factor
But
if
I
I
know,
can even go.
They know.
Oh boy. Bryan, it's been fun chatting with you for the last little bit here. Actually, Megan, why don't you take over? Because I was about to.
Well, you got a few minutes. Is there any like sponsors or anybody that's been with you that you want to take a minute to thank?
Yeah, we actually have some awesome partners with us this year. Canada Welding Supply, they came on board. I was trying to get a hold of them for about a year or so, and then I finally managed to talk to Matt Crimmy, the owner at Motorama, which was actually fantastic. So it was able to get us into this amazing partnership. It helped me out. I was able to upgrade my welder in my shop, whatever, for fabricating our parts, since we like to do our fabrication in house whenever we can. And of course, we had a local company like 2 minutes down the road from me. We've done a lot of work with our family business. Their name is Harrington Excavating. They do so much stuff. It's unbelievable. They do foundations, like drainage stuff, septic, pretty much anything that requires digging or hauling. Give them a call, they'll get taken care of. And of course, my family business, Lloyd's Paving. Wasn't them, I would not be able to do any of this. They supply the truck to get us to the track, which is a huge thank you. It saves a weight off my shoulders personally. And a lot of other companies have been helping us out. Griffin Auto Tech out of Sarnia, they're a bunch of drag racers, and they're like family to us. I've known them my entire life. My dad's known them for well over 30 years now. And we got, of course, Broadway Service. They're a local company to us, Wyoming, Ontario. They do quite a bit to help us, and we do a lot of work with them, their family business. Of course, we got Stone Pickers. Can never go wrong with a nice cold Stone Picker beer when you're working on the car. They're one of the team's favorite sponsors for a reason, and that's because their stuff is delicious. Then we got a couple others. Lambton Dipping and Coatings. He does all our powder coating stuff for us. It's great because we love to have top-notch looking equipment. And we've tried painting parts, stuff flakes off in like a week. Powder coat stuff, you can last we got one control arm in the car that's been on for 2 years and it still looks like brand new after we powder coated it. We got Popalock, Sarnia, and London. He just came on this year. We actually met them working, chatting with them on the side of the road, and next thing you know, we got talking, and now we have a great partnership with them. And Wild Printing, of course, I can never forget them. Jason and Cody, they do what they can to help us. They gave us some pretty nice looking stuff each week. Like anytime I need anything, I just shoot him a text and he lets me know when to come pick it up. Needed to outgrew my old fire suit. The dad bod kicked in. So I had to get a new fire suit, and sure enough, he started making suits. So he lined me up with a cool one. I let him have at it, his design all the way. And I'm not much of a flashy person. I like my stuff clean and simple, and I'm actually loving the suit. And I can't forget McFarland Rollins Insurance. They've been with us for, oh man, probably 7 or 8 years now. So they're a big contributor to our program, and without all those guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
I loved how you even gave a little brief description about all, and like not a lot of people have done that on the show, and I appreciate that thoroughly. Because I kind of just reinforced. So before you came on, we were having this whole discussion, and actually it was submitted from Jason from Wild's Printing. So it kind of, it's funny how it's all coming to like all full circle here. So before we let you go, I want to bring this up with you then, because see what you think. He essentially asked us we Megan and I agree on it, and wrong Jay. So is for like myself, like I've never been behind the wheel of a race car for an actual event, but as a fan, he goes, what do fans want from a driver compared to what they get off the track, or what they get off the track, that is, and how can the track support this? The time to meet drivers is priceless for those who think the drivers are hidden under Superman's cape. Essentially, from what my understandings of that question is what Megan and I have talked about, is what as a fan, I want to see drivers and teams get out into the public more. Now, I've already been seeing that from you guys, because you guys have taken your cars up to a couple car shows this year. Same thing with Jaden Chapman down there. It's been great to see. And now the question is, what do tracks need to do to help out with that as well?
It's hard to say. I personally like the autograph nights and stuff, fan appreciation nights, where the fans get to come and actually see the cars sitting on the track. Because from a lot of them, all they see is when it's going by at what, 80 mile an hour or so, right? So they don't get to actually see close what they're watching. So, and they don't get to meet the people. So like the fan appreciation nights, I personally love them, because you actually get to meet the people that are there to support the tracks, which is really important, and to cheer you on, right? So I figured, relates back to our car show stuff, is we take all of our equipment, like all of our cars, if they're presentable, we take them to all these car shows locally that we can find time for, because really, what kid does not want to sit in a cool looking race car, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, so we take all the equipment to the car shows. We just had my sister Bailey, her mini truck, and Landon Moore, a good buddy of mine's son. We just had their cars at a car show just 10 minutes down the road from our shop this morning, and they said they just love it, because like the amount of kids coming and just love seeing it, and then their face will light up when you ask them if they want to sit in it, because really it's like one thing to look at a car and like, oh, that's neat, but once you actually get it up close and get to interact with it, and really, what kid does not want to sit in a race car?
You're exactly right.
Yeah,
Hell, I still want to sit in a race car. I just know my body size will not fit into many race cars now.
I'm sure there's a way we can make it happen.
I'll bring my own seat. Hey, I got one sitting in storage. It just literally needs a cover. That is it.
Well, I know.
Sorry.
I know the Lawrences have quite a fleet there that they like to rent out, and I know I'm personally eyeing racing one at least once this year, is hopping in one of their cars.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe we'll slip in there too.
I got a wedding to pay for next year, but if things go well, maybe next year I might hop into a ride. And if we can do so, we're good friends with the Stickers and Scuffs guys. It'd be cool to get both myself and Graydon into the car at like not the same car obviously, but like racing against each other. That'd be cool for one night, just to have the two of us run.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Like a mic'd up, like head to
Oh
head.
yeah, I'm taking GoPros with me. I'm putting everywhere I can put a GoPro. I'm putting a GoPro in that night.
Yeah, both cars all GoPro'd up, all mic'd up, so you can hear everything. I think it'd be pretty interesting to watch.
Hell, just need to get the Rogers broadcast to be able to tap into us, and all you hear is,
No,
"This is the most incredible thing in my life." I'd be like Ricky Bobby. Are you kidding? The first time out? Oh boy. But you never know. We can make it happen. But Bryan, we appreciate you coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you for the last little bit here. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you, because if the racing happens this week, if you were able to get back to the track this weekend, it'll be on G-Force, and I'm hoping I'll be, if that happens, I'll be definitely watching it and seeing how well you do, and I hope you get up to the front this weekend.
No, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat with me. It's feels like it's been quite a while, but yeah, we all we can hope for this weekend is that we get our motor back. And other than that, we got a decent setup to start with, and as long as we get our motor back and get the spare transmission thrown in the car, we should be good to go.
Well, you're gonna have to keep me posted this week on how that turns out for you.
Yeah, I will.
All right, man. Go enjoy the rest of your night. All right.
Yeah, you too.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye. And we're back from our conversation with Bryan Batty of Batty Motorsports. I enjoyed that. That was actually quite a lot of fun. I haven't actually talked to the guy, besides through Facebook messages. So it was actually kind of cool. Again, a lot of these people we talk to, I don't actually talk to before we get started up on here, which is weird. But it's always fun learning about the drivers.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, I didn't know how he got started was crewing for Whitlock. Like, like I said, I'm sending you over some links so you can take a look at those. Like, that guy was badass back in the day.
I feel like I'll see it and I'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna look at it and be like, I know that one.
Yeah.
But of course, we want to thank Bryan for joining us this week, and we're running low, and I keep forgetting. I put it out on Facebook that I'm going to be reaching out to some guys. I only have like the next 3 weeks of guests lined up, and I think we're scheduled off next weekend. So guys, no new episode next week. We are off next weekend thanks to Canada Day weekend. So you guys are gonna have 2 weeks to be able to listen to this podcast. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you and I will just throw together a fun little recap episode on like Monday night or something, or Tuesday night, and have like just a little something to put out there.
Yeah.
Just help tie these fans over before we get back in the studio with another guest. Again, I go with that studio thing. I'm dreaming of a studio, guys. I'm sorry. So I'm not doing it in my kid's bedroom. Hence why there's dino sheets behind me here. And then I got Toy Story sheets right there, and I try to cover that up for the podcast and try to stay kind of over here. But yeah, so before we head out, we were I was scrolling on Facebook earlier today. Well, not too long ago. But something came across my feed, and I think it needs to be talked about. And that is, so Spencer Riddell, who runs the 17 Pure Stock, by the way, got his first win last week. So big congratulations to Spencer. He has a really good point here. He goes, talking in the pits last night with a few drivers, and we got on top of getting win stickers, realizing that we don't have any made up for Flamborough Speedway. And has anyone got any leads of where they can get some made up or know someone? And again, that kind of put in my head is like, the only time you get a win sticker is when Dave Franks is at a track near you.
Mhm.
So, Dave, I don't know if he's just touring with the APC series or what his plans are racing wise. But when you see Dave out there and you know you're gonna, if you win and you get that win sticker, that is such a cool feeling.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Flamborough needs to get their own win stickers made up.
Hmm.
Hell, I'm sure you could probably get someone to sponsor them. I don't know how much they would be, but I'm sure a lot of these drivers, I'm sure, would love to. You pass tech and then you get the tech guy just putting the sticker right on the. Would be a great feeling, or you're
Oh,
given
for
the
sure.
sticker to put on.
Definitely.
You know, it's I don't know. What do you how do you feel about that?
I think it's definitely something that should be there. Like, I personally didn't realize that. Like, I knew that Flamborough doesn't have their own ones that say Flamborough Speedway, but I didn't realize that they're not getting any sort of win stickers or anything like that. So, I mean, it'd be cool. It's cool to, you go to Oswego and you see a different, I mean, Dave Bailey is a prime example because he's got multiple from years past. And it's like they're all different color. It has Oswego's logo on it. It's got the year on it. It says feature win, like something along those lines. And it's cool to see that, I don't know the word for it, like progression or something of how many they got, what years they got them. Like it's definitely something worth having. And I, as a driver, like it's
So
cool.
here's my next question then. I'm gonna finish your thought first, but I got a question.
Oh, that was pretty much it.
Well, now I feel more like an asshole. Uh, so where I was about to go with that is now some guys keep them on there so that way when they sell the car, the new owner can be like, hey, it's been to victory lane. Now, if you continue to own the same car, I would understand leaving the stickers on. But I think once it changes hands, those stickers need to be removed.
Yeah.
Because if I'm racing, even if I'm got a top 10 car, like a top tier car, I do not want that car to be associated with the previous owner.
Yeah.
Even if it's won 50 times, great. That car has won 50 times with that driver. Hasn't won 50 times with me. I don't want to be associated with that. Because then I feel like there's going to be too much of pressure on me to live up to that expectation. Now, the other question is how many stickers is too many and how many do you start pulling off? Or do you start pulling them off at the end of the year? Right? It's
Yeah. I mean,
kind
it's
of
hard because I feel like Dave Bailey is like the prime example for this because like it wasn't until I actually looked at his car up close that I'm like, you got a lot of feature win stickers on here. And it's like, at what point is your car going to be plastered in them? So it's like, and like, no disrespect them, like it's amazing and it's great to see, but it's like, yeah, at one point, like you could potentially have a lot on there. So it's like, it'd be cool even to have like I guess it would kind of suck because not everybody is going to win a feature in their life, their career.
Yep.
But to even start a little passport type thing or like something, because I'm a hoarder that way. Like my old Pure Stock like contender sticker is on the
Yeah.
back of my truck because I would not. So like I keep stuff like that. So I
So
guess it's really a preference.
so here, this is the way I look at it too, is college football. I'm not saying does the same thing because it's definitely not, but
Mhm.
they like for my team. I'm an Ohio State Buckeyes fan. Sorry, I'm not. I'm
Mhm.
one of the Ohio State Buckeye fans. And so their helmets at the beginning of the year look like this. Plain silver. I know it's hard to see.
Yeah.
By the end of the season, their helmets look like that with the Buckeye leaves
Okay.
all over it.
Right.
But at the end of the season, all those stickers get removed.
Right.
Right? So it's one of those things is how many is too many before you start peeling off and trading them in? Or do you take them off at the end of the year?
I think you'd have to leave it up to the driver because I mean
It would be, yeah.
you get some that are gonna win a lot of races and they're gonna have a lot of them, or you might get someone like me that's gonna win one feature and that's it. And it's like I would have, if I still had that car, that sticker would still be on there. But I guess it's just a driver preference. Like
Yeah.
you kind of make the call when it's like, okay, like enough of that. Let's start fresh.
I feel like if it's a new car to you, you need to start
Mhm.
fresh. That's my opinion on
Yeah.
it.
In definitely in that aspect, like, yeah, okay, it might look cool to have feature win stickers on your car, but if it wasn't under, you're not in the driver's seat when it happened, like I don't know, it's putting a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah. So, but I do think I love how we had a simple conversation to start with, and then, but it is. I think I think we're both on the same page here with that. It's Spencer's correct. You know, it's those win stickers mean a lot. Like trophies are trophies, and especially when you only get a single trophy for a night.
Mhm.
I don't know. Are
They've
they
actually,
doing dual trophies again, or
no, they're doing double trophies again. So
okay?
there's
So
none of
which
that.
is good, but
It's
like
really good.
so like on our end on the CVMs, uh, we have a great deal with Epic Raceware. Epic Raceware is our Victory Lane sponsor. So we got this cool triangle piece that gets thrown on top of the race car. It is Epic Raceware Victory Lane for us is awesome. And one of the things that they get is we have enough checkered flags with the Canadian Young Drivers Canadian Vintage Modified logo on it that not only does the driver get a trophy, they each get a flag.
Mm-hmm.
Each winner will get their own CVM flag. So it kind of you could almost if you can do it down in Victory Lane, it's even better.
Mm-hmm.
Because like a guy like TJ Marshall, you know he's gonna win 6 or 7 of these things. Same thing
Yeah.
with the Quentin Murdoch, 6 or 7 of these things. At what point do you enjoy them all? Or do you start giving them away to fans? Like kind of
Yeah.
like how NASCAR does it when they give them the checkered flag, the driver comes over, touches it, and they got a kid there and he hands it off to the kid.
Yeah.
Right?
See, I've thought about that too.
It's I don't know. Again, it's like I don't know. I'm one of those people that if I was to ever win a feature and it's the CVMs because you get a flag,
Mm.
are you kidding me? I'm grabbing that flag. If it was down in Victory Lane at the time, I'm taking that flag, running through the gate, finding a kid to give it to and give it to them.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't care, but that's me. I wouldn't care. My my goal, if I was to ever race, is try to encourage the next generation.
Mhm.
So if I was to ever get to victory lane and I got that damn checker flag, if I knew I could give it away, you're gonna
Yeah.
see a fat guy run across the damn track to go put that flag in some kid's hand.
Mhm.
Because to me, that's more important than anything else I'm gonna get.
And it really is. And my dad and I have talked about this previously too with trophies. It's like there's a couple, maybe 2 trophies that he has that he said has a meaning to him. The rest of them, it sits and it collects dust after, like,
Yeah.
once the newness went off. Like, I mean, so it's like, yeah, why not? Like, okay, yeah, if you have a whole, like, I don't know if you've ever seen Dave Bailey's shop. This man's got shelf upon shelf upon shelf, and it's trophies all lined up. And it's like, okay, if you've got a display like that, it would be really cool. But still, at one point, it's just collecting dust. So why not make a kid's day?
Exactly.
Potentially bring them.
Like, your first win's your first win.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. But if you know it's a special one, you're gonna retain it.
Yeah.
But if it's just like a weekly night and there's nothing really special, make a kid's night.
Yeah. Exactly.
Get them more excited in racing. I can't, Megan, I don't know if you recall, but whenever you would go to Flamborough, were you always in the pits or would you go grandstand side growing up?
It depended. It went either way.
Okay, so if you were in the grandstands, okay, you weren't in the pits, you were over in the grandstands, would you go under the bleachers and play? Or would you be up in the grandstands watching every lap?
I was in the grandstands. There'd be the odd time we're down underneath, but that was like intermittent stuff. But other than that, we're
you're always up watching. Oh, don't tell me we lost Megan now too. Oh,
no. Sorry. I have something to read after.
Oh boy. Everything good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I do think Flamborough definitely needs to bring back win stickers. It holds a lot of memories to those drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully there's a sponsor who'll step up and get them made up for them.
I hope so.
But I think we've gone on long enough, as per usual.
Yeah.
What do you say we get what do we say we get out of here for the night?
Yeah.
All right, everyone. That's been episode 101 of the True North Racing Podcast, brought to you by Vision 20 Studios. Of course, we want to thank everyone, from our guest this week, Bryan Batty, to all you amazing listeners out there and watchers. Thank you guys for watching and subscribing to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Anchor, wherever you guys get your podcast from. We hope you guys enjoy our content. We've been putting out a lot lately. Thankfully, we've been getting more racing in, so we've been able to put some more GoPros on cars and have a lot more fun with that. Of course, I got to thank Megan Mitchell for taking some time out of her Sunday nights to join me on this podcast and go on these rants we could go on for hours on end, no issue, no questions asked. But thank you guys for listening. Make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and always stay up to date on what's going on with the True North Racing Podcast in Jomo Media by checking us out online at www.jomomedia.ca. Yeah, that's it for Megan Mitchell. I'm John Morrison. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Bye now.
Peace out.
True North Racing. Let's go.